massive transformation. Massive transformation has been defined as a composition invariant interface controlled diffusional phase transformation leading to a characteristic patchy morphology. And the microstructure exhibits phase boundaries with faceting and glitches, and that the product and parent phases, they do not necessarily have a specific lattice orientation relationship among them. Thus, the characteristics of massive transformation are no specific lattice orientation relationship between the parent and product phases, massive phase nucleates and dose by which the parent phase is consumed. It is a composition variant or partitionless transformation. Compositions of the parent phase and the product phase are the same. As a prototype alloy system in which massive transformation occurs, we consider copper zinc alloy system. In it, we consider an alloy containing about 38 atom% zinc and the rest copper. The most stable state for this alloy above 800 degrees Celsius is beta phase, and below 500 degrees Celsius it is alpha phase, which is stable. The type of transformation that occurs on cooling the beta phase of this composition depends on the cooling rate. So, to understand that, see the time transformation and temperature diagram, so which is shown here for this alloy. At slow and moderate cooling rates, alpha precipitation by nucleation and growth transformation. If the alloy is cooled fast by quenching in brine, the precipitation of alpha by nucleation and growth type of transformation is suppressed, and the beta phase can be undercooled to a temperature below 500 degrees centigrade. At these temperatures, beta transforms into alpha massive with the same composition. This is called as a massive transformation. So if the cooling rate is still fast enough, then the alloy can be brought to a undercooled state at a temperature equal to ms or below it. Then the alloy will, beta phase will transform into by means of a Martin-Stich mechanism into a product phase. So what is significant in this phase diagram is this T0 curve. This T0 curve corresponds to a condition where the Gibbs free energies of beta as well as alpha phase are the same. To the left of this T0 line, it is possible that beta phase can convert into alpha phase in a partition-less fashion. To the right of it, long-range diffusion is required so that the beta can transform into the product phase. So here again we are considering here the free energy versus free composition curves. So at 850 degrees centigrade, so we have this is the composition line, and this is the free energy of beta phase, and this is the free energy of alpha phase schematically. So beta phase is more stable, and at this particular composition. And if we come to 700 degrees, nearly 700 degrees Celsius, for an alloy containing a mole fraction of 0.38, the alpha and beta phases, they have got the same free energy. So this is the temperature corresponding to T0, but nevertheless the equilibrium phases have got these two compositions. So consequently, there is a chance that there is a disintegration of beta phase to give rise to alpha phase, but it can occur athermally or by long range diffusion. So if it involves long range diffusion, then we have got what is known as the precipitation of alpha phase in beta. So that requires, so at 600 degrees Celsius, the delta G for precipitation is given by this difference between these 2 points along the free energy axis, and but this is the point corresponds to the delta G massive. So consequently the delta G massive requires a lesser driving force than delta G for precipitation. So it is this massive formation of alpha phase from beta is kinetically more favored compared with precipitation of alpha from beta by nucleation growth. At 500 degrees centigrade, so the differences in the free energies of the alpha phase and the beta phase is substantially more, and so consequently the driving force is greater here. So consequently the precipitation of alpha phase suppressed altogether, so the beta phase can transform into alpha phase by a massive transformation. Massive alpha grains nucleate at grain boundaries and grow rapidly into the surrounding beta. Because of their rapid growth, the alpha massive beta boundaries have a characteristic regular appearance, as you can see it here. So massive alpha is formed at the grain boundaries of beta in copper 38.7 atom percent zinc when quenched from 850 degrees centigrade in ice plains to 0 degrees Celsius. Some high temperature precipitation has also occurred here at the boundaries. One of the characteristic features of massive transformation is that phase boundaries are zigzag. You can see this. Growth can take place either on one or both sides of the grain boundaries, original grain boundary. Since the growth of new phase by mass transformation only involves thermally activated jumping across alpha beta interface, the massive transformation can be defined as a diffusionless civilian transformation, and it is characterized by its own C-curve on TTT or CCT diagrams. The migration of alpha beta interfaces is very similar to the migration of grain boundaries during recrystallization of a single phase material. However, In the case of massive transformation, the driving force is orders of magnitude greater than for recrystallization, which makes the kinetics of growth very rapid. So even some metastable phases can form by massive transformation. Growth of massive phase requires diffusion over only a distance of the order of the interface boundary thickness, and the operator diffusivity here is that of interface boundary rather than that of volume diffusion. Growth rates of typical massive phase change is of the order of 1 cm, 1 centimeter per second. That is linear growth rate. And this linear growth rate is about 10 to the power of 6 to 10 to the power of 8 times greater than the rate when the growth is volume diffusion controlled or bulk diffusion controlled. So this you can see here again. The nucleation and growth type of transformation occurs at a high temperature because that requires a larger driving force. So the diffusion kinetics will be faster only at high temperatures, and if you are rapidly cooling the alloy to a lower temperature, then it is possible by cooling at a rapid cooling rate of the order of in between here, then massive transformation can occur. So the typical cooling rates to produce massive transformation of the order of nearly 0.3 to around 30,000 Kelvin per second. And if we are able to cool still fast enough, then same alloy can convert into a product phase martinistically. The system showing massive transformation will generally also transform martinistically if sufficiently high quench rates are used to suppress the nucleation of massive product. That means even massive transformation can be suppressed. The gamma to alpha transformation in iron and its alloys can also occur massively provided the gamma austenite is quenched sufficiently rapidly to avoid transformations that can occur near the equilibrium, but slow enough to avoid the formation of martensite. So massively, this is the diagram of a RSS, the micrograph of a massive alpha in a iron 0.002 carbon quenched into ice plane from 1000 degrees Celsius. Again, you can see some precipitates which are formed early on at the grain boundaries, and also faceted grain or phase boundaries here.